February where we met up for the second time, and I remember it was February because we went to see Black Panther. It was fun, and I distinctly remember him getting out of my car, but stopping midway and saying, "Just remember, I really care about you," and then closing the door, which made me feel really good because, you know, this was my best friend. We had met up for the second time.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Comic Crow, and what you just heard is a clip of the accuser, Orion, describing their night with Kwite when they went to go see Black Panther. Now, we'd done a YouTube video about this, talking about how there was no evidence to their claims that Kwite had sexually assaulted them or raped them or abused them in any way. They only showed screenshots of conversations that showed pretty much a very friendly relationship that they have with Kwite. And now that I've heard this audio, and by the way, I already know what the cope will be, and I'll address it in a little bit. But now that I've heard this audio in which they describe Kwite treating them quite nicely, right? Treating them with care and respect and like a decent human being, it flies in the face of their statements that on this night, Kwite had sexually assaulted them or raped them. And the thing is that's a little bit weird. You know, I could understand the arguments of, well, they didn't want to talk about it at the time. Well, you know, they didn't want to, they were afraid to bring up the fact that they were sexually assaulted. I think that's a massive cope, and I don't buy it at all. And the main reason why I don't buy it at all is because there's no reason for Orion to make up a story of that night that didn't need to be brought up at all, and then give us how nice Kwite treated them.
I distinctly remember him getting out of my car, but stopping midway and saying, "Just remember, I really care about you," and then closing the door, which made me feel really good because, you know, this was my best friend.
It is also because this is only a 30-second clip. The longer clip is actually much worse, right? Because in the longer conversation, you immediately see Orion jump into talking about how Kwite then ignores them when they're supposed to be like these really good friends. Here, listen to this in its full context and tell me what you think.
Because, you know, this was my best friend. We had met up for the second time. He still cares about me. But 2 weeks later, he randomly starts ignoring me. This was around about the time when he got around about 10 to 15,000 subscribers. I thought, maybe he's busy, but I still needed one of those validation checks that he usually responded to very quickly. So after he didn't respond to Discord messages, I texted him on his phone because I had his phone number, as well as I'd met his parents, I had his address. I have a lot of secrets on him because we were best friends.
So this is a massive issue that I have here. Okay, Orion is saying that they never told anyone about being sexually assaulted because, you know, they suppressed it, right? They suppressed it and they didn't figure out until, you know, after the fact, you know, after Kwite basically blew them off, that's when they figured out what had happened. Well, this is 2 years later, okay? This is 2 years later. This is in 2019. Orion is not bringing up any of that. And is in fact telling us that they have dirty secrets about him, that they know his fucking parents, that they could just call his parents and talk to his parents, right? So here's what I do believe. I do believe that Orion and Kwite had a very close relationship at one point, and that's it. I'm sorry. That's all there is to it. They had a close relationship at one point, and then it broke off. And when Orion came out to cancel Kwite in 2019, 4 years ago, all right, this was not I just want to tell my story. No, actually, let me show you how this video opens up from this suspicious person, just so we're all on the same page of what they tried to do 4 years ago.
Every channel, making videos in his natural habitat, attempting to charm his many subscribers with his quirky persona. This species is called a Kwite. He is often located in a bland setting and can be seen wielding an item whilst recording.
It's time to give the axe
to his career.
Yeah, so guys, this was an attempt to cancel Kwite and destroy his reputation and his career 4 years ago. So I'm listening to Orion tell me that, oh, I didn't want to accuse him of rape because I didn't have the evidence and I was afraid of how people would react. You tried to cancel him 4 years ago. Like you tried to cancel him 4 years ago for being a transphobe and being a bad boyfriend, right? Like you did that 4 years ago. And so 4 years ago, it didn't work, okay? Now, look, I'm not trying to be insulting to this Tusk Vicious person. They clearly put some effort into their video here, but it only got about 6,000 views total over the course of a 4-year period, and Kwite apologized to the way that they had treated Orion, and and Orion accepted Kwite's apology for how they were treated, okay? And this was back in 2019. Now we jump 4 years later, and the apology is no good anymore, and also I was raped. What am I supposed to think here when I have a description from this same accuser from 4 years ago, before rape was ever a thing in anyone's mind, okay? And talking about how, oh, he treated me so nicely. So it was so weird when he just rejected me and stopped. Like, that was her story. Her story wasn't he raped me and then I need to get out of there, or that I was being friendly with him, but that was so that I could, get space and make sure I was safe, or I repressed it and then later it came out. No. Her story is, her story, at least back then, was we had this great night. He treated me so well. He even said he cared about me and wanted to make sure that we were the bestest of friends. And then 2 weeks later, he just starts ignoring me, and I can't understand why. That was her story 4 fucking years ago, right? Before then, him, whatever, I don't care. This is a false claim of rape. I don't care what your fucking cope is. I don't want to hear anyone in my comment section going, well, we need to wait for more evidence. This is the evidence, okay? There was never any evidence provided by Orion to support rape. This is the only evidence. Who fucking cares? Their own words from 4 years ago that it didn't fucking happen. That night he treated her very well, or treated him very well. Oh my God, you have a false claim of rape. And let's be real about some of those consequences, okay? Yeah, Kwite suffered in the sense that, look, he is getting backlash. He's lost 60,000 fucking subscribers from it. Okay? He is getting backlash. He is facing a penalty because somebody came forward with literally zero, zilch, nada, nothing, absolutely nothing to back up a claim of rape, and he's lost 60,000 fucking subscribers. And if anything, if you actually looked into this person to try to verify their fucking story, you will find a video 4 fucking years ago where they tried to cancel this guy for being a transphobe. And you know what's crazy? Orion's story is like very, very similar to the current story about how Kwite triggered their abandonment issues, how Kwite just started ignoring them, how they were friends and Kwite just blew them off. That's the only thing that is the same here, okay? It's that Orion is upset that Kwite started ignoring them. It triggered their abandonment issues. Now look, I'll be somewhat charitable to Orion, because maybe potentially, as someone with BPD, as someone with abandonment issues, as someone with memory issues, maybe potentially they have this in their head totally backwards. Maybe they really do not remember what happened properly. Maybe that's the case. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I think the much simpler solution here is you have a rejected girl who's pissy and is upset that the ex-boyfriend has blown up in popularity and just completely threw her to the fucking trash on the wayside like she's nothing. It's a tale as old as fucking time itself. And I don't give a shit. If he raped her, then I care. If he didn't rape her and she's claiming rape, oh man, then I'm pissed. And if you don't feel the same, that's totally fine. That's absolutely fine. But I am done listening to all the cope, all the stupid, all the nonsense. There has never been a shred of fucking evidence to support her fucking claims. And if anything, you have anti-evidence. You have evidence showing the contrary. 4 years ago, in her own words, describing that exact same night. There you go, everybody. I'll see you on stream tonight if you want to tune in for more.